Okay, so this chapter is going to talk about tritone substitutions along with the 251s. There's a lot of talk about tritone substitutions, and tritone substitutions add a lot of real nice spice to your harmony. Okay, they add a lot of a lot of interest to the harmony and your piece. Let's go through and make sure that we understand exactly what a tritone substitution is. First of all, remember when we were talking about intervals in the beginning of the DVD, I said that this interval is a tritone. A tritone is halfway between the octave. So whatever note you're on, okay, tritone is halfway between the octave, right? One way of finding it is you can just go ahead down like that, go down each note. It's also the fifth, a flatted fifth. So wherever the fifth is, it's a half step below the fifth. This is the tritone for F. So there's F and there's its tritone. So what a tritone substitution is you're substituting the chord that you're on with the chord that is a tritone away. So if I'm on a C chord, I substitute it with some type of F sharp chord. Now, in these 251s with the upper structure triads, this is what's really, really cool about it. You don't have to really do anything. The bass player will really make the tritone substitution. Now, if you're playing solo piano, then it's just one note that you change. Just whatever note you're hitting in the bass will change the sound of the chord and will create a tritone substitution. Let me demonstrate for you. So, this is taking exactly the same chords in the previous chapter, right? Same voicings, same everything. You notice in the middle here you see the same 5-7 chord, the same G7 chord, right? With the upper structure triad, same thing as before. But right next to it, I wrote out exactly the same chord again. There's a dotted line there, but it says some type of D flat chord. Reason being, whoops. D flat is the tritone of G. So we're replacing that G with a D flat. It'll make a little bit more sense once I start playing it. So let me get right into this here. So here I start with this D minor 7. I'm going to play my roots down here so you can see. Now if I go now to this next chord, right, and I hit a root down here, don't try to stretch this. I can do it because I got really big hands here, but right. So if I play that root down here, it's a G7 chord. And then I finally go to a C major 7 chord. But listen to what happens if I do this instead. Oops, right? So see now I'm putting a D flat down there, and then I go to C major 7. See how it changes the whole sound? Let me do it again. This time I'm really going to emphasize. Well, actually, let's do it on the second line. It'll be a little bit easier to see. So there's D minor 7. Right, hit that D minor 7. Now if I go to hit G, right, and I go to hit C. Now listen to it this time. D, then D flat, and then to C. Okay? So what's interesting is that take that second example there, the second line there, so measure 5, 6, 7, 8, right? You'll see that when I'm doing it on the G7, right, this is really a flat 3 chord, right? It's a flat 3 upper structure triad, or it's an upper structure triad built on the flat 3rd. But now when I think of it as D flat, it's really an upper structure triad built on what? The 6th, okay? So it's exactly the same notes. It's just changing one note in the bass, all right? The chord voicing is exactly the same notes, but the bass note changes. And it changes the function of each of the notes of the chord. That's kind of a weird thing to conceptualize there, but the notes are exactly the same, but how they function is different. Remember before when I was talking about that C minor 7, right? And how if I put a C underneath it, it's a C minor 7. If I put an A flat underneath it, now this becomes an A flat major 7. If I put an F, it's an F7 sus 4, okay? These notes are exactly the same, but their function is changing. If it's C minor 7, well, that's the root. If If this is A flat major 7, well, this is no longer the root, this is the third of the chord, okay? Same thing with these upper structure triads. So now, what does that mean to you? Well, if you're playing solo piano, then what it means is like, okay, well, instead of going to like a G7 here, you know, or doing that, hitting the root, well, just simply replace that with a different root. Okay? So you've achieved a tritone substitution just by switching that bass note. All right? So if you want to do it straight without a tritone substitution, go D minor 7, G7, C major 7. If you want to do the tritone substitution, go D minor 7, D flat 7, C major 7. Okay? Tritone substitution goes down by that half step, whereas the 2-5-1 goes up and then down. Okay? I'm going to have another DVD on reharmonization and tritone substitutions and stuff like that, so keep an eye out for it. All right, so that's basically it. I'm going to do another play-along that has these tritone substitutions as well, just so you can start to hear it, all right? It's going to be exactly the same thing, all right? Same play-along. I'm just going to change that bass note to a D flat rather than playing a G, okay? So play along with that. Have a lot of fun.